Whoa! Where did he come from? Alright, stun him.
My aim is true. My eye is the prophets.
Alright, well that's not a big problem. So, okay, what was I saying? If we wanted to make this game tactically interesting, how would we do it?
Point that somewhere else.
And when you walk in here, first of all, you can't see all the tiers, so you don't really know, or you can't really plan your approach. And the moment you fire a shot, everybody runs at you, and you don't know where they come from. Because like from this angle, you can't see where the enemies actually are because they're all behind cover. You know, you can't see where the enemies are. Whereas if we kind of, maybe if there's some way to get up high, and then you can kind of look down and see where the enemies are before you start engaging them, then you have the option to, you know, to choose your approach. And actually have a tactic. Whereas, as you saw right now, we mostly just walked up to people and shot them until they died. Again, like the whole game is like that. The whole game is walking up to people and shooting them until they die. And it's not... I guess the AI is part of the problem, the fact that the AI likes to run at you. But the other problem is the map layouts too. It's a combination, and it's not like they can't do it right, because the first two Bioshock games had some really interesting tactical sequences. Every Big Daddy fight in the first two Bioshock was interesting.
They argued something fierce at night, Lady Comstock and the Prophet. Could never make out what it was about from my bunk, though. After the worst, I seen she ain't left for morning prayer. So I crept upstairs to check in on her. Like a fool, I lingered. Scullery maid was what they called me when I walked into Comstock House. Murderer was what they shouted when I ran out.
Alright, so that's Daisy, and she's saying that she didn't murder Lady Comstock. They were arguing something fierce, and then it got quiet, and then she went up to check on her, and by that point she was dead.
Can you get this open?
I'll give it a whirl. Ready.
Alright, we want this, mostly. But we also want this. Firebird jumping from a skyline has a 100% chance to burn nearby enemies. Victim takes 400 damage over 3 seconds. That sounds kind of awesome.
Just what the doctor ordered.
You notice how much these clothing emphasize the skylines. Which is, like, it's one of those game mechanics that is kind of cool. You know, you just kind of hook onto a skyline and fly around a lot. It's kind of awesome. But it's not that useful. Like, you know, it's dramatic and, you know, action-packed and all that, but it's not actually useful. There's not that many good reasons to fly around on the skylines all the time, except for the entertainment value of it, right?
There's the job and there's life. They pay me to hate the goddamn Vox, and I take their money, but what's the harm of having a drink with Fitzroy's people? Face to face at the graveyard shift, why, they're just folk. Well, I guess I fell into the goddamn bottle because I stumbled back without the evidence locker key. If Schmidt finds out, well, there'll be hell to pay.
Alright, so he's not actually racist. He just shoots them because that's his job. And he lost the key down at the bar, but we picked it up, and this is the chest. And inside is this. So we found the loot. Awesome. Great. What is back here? Locker room? The game wants us to go downstairs because Elizabeth walks that way. A lockpick in the showers. Her eyes so blue, her skin so white, or are they? We must all be vigilant to ensure the purity of our people. So incredibly racist. I mean, this is Nazi Germany level racism now. They've slowly cranked up the racism in this game as well. Because they didn't really say it out loud back in the beginning of the game, right? Although you could see it, like you can see all the people were really, really white. Now you can see that they are working really hard to keep it that way. Alright, let's go downstairs. I think we've looted everything there is to loot up here. Police station. Let's look at the architecture a little bit. I mean, it looks pretty fancy. It's set up that you get ambushed, basically, because you come in the door, I mean, you get a cover there, but it really is set up so that you get shot at from all angles the moment you walk through. Ambush. Ambush gameplay. Not a big fan. Or rather, getting ambushed. I like ambushing other people. Not a big fan of getting ambushed. Alright. So that's the other
There they
stuff.
are, the tools.
Now we just have to get them back to the Vox, and then we get our airship.
The tools, yes. And
Elizabeth, little help?
Let me have a look.
that's a lot of machines. You can make a lot of
All
guns
yours.
with that many machines.
Who are we really helping by getting guns for the Vox Populi?
It's gonna help us.
Daisy can make a change, can't she? Make things better for the people here.
Sure.
Sure. Alright. So we have to go all the way around the objective. And then get down here. Let me just check these cells. The founders will bleed. There are cockroaches eating her. Ew. Better you eat the cockroaches than they eat you, right? Am I right? I don't know if I'm right.
Well, we sure as hell aren't gonna be able to carry all this back to the shop. God, we didn't think this all the way through. What is that?
It looks like a tear to another version of this room that doesn't have any tools in it.
Well, if the tools aren't in there, then
Then they must be back
back at the shop.
Booker, if we go into this tear, I don't think there's any turning back. Are you sure you want to go now?
Okay, now it's getting stupid. Now it's getting utterly stupid because there's no way for us to move the tools. So we just open a tier into who knows where. Like nobody knows what's on the other side of that tier. What else has changed? Why are why are the tools not there in the other side of the tier? We don't know that. We don't know what else is different. But we just go straight through and we don't even question it and we don't even hesitate. And then there's nothing, you can't do anything. Like you can't choose not to do it. The game just stops here until you go through the tier. Now it's getting ridiculous. You know, if you kind of you go through a tear to bring back a man's bring a man back to life. That's kind of, you know, a life is worth something. You open a tear just to make it more convenient to move tools. That's getting a bit ridiculous now. And we have, as I said, we have no idea what else is different on the other side of the tier. Who would do this? How many of you would choose to go through this tier if you had a choice? Instead of just figuring out how to move the tools back. Right, well let's just do what the game says and go through. This is so, like, it's just this is why is it so convenient? Like, there's no why can't we choose some? Anyway, well, here we go. And she says once you go through this.
Something.
Come on, let's head back to the gunsmith and finish our deal. I aim to be on that airship and well shut of this place for long.
Booker, if the Vox get their weapons, there's going to be a revolution just like Les Miserables. These people are gonna have better lives.
No.
Yeah.
No, they're gonna die. Like, she says, once we go through, we can't come back. She says that. So you just step through like an idiot and not even question anything. Oh, burst guns. Do I want these burst guns? They give me a lot of them. Burst gun is the other version of the rifle, I believe. So this one, you can aim down your sights, but it's burst fire. So you can't... I don't know, it just feels like it uses a lot of ammo. And just pick the carbine back up. We'll pick it up later on if we have to, the burst guns. So now we are in yet another world. She's still dead though. There's a lockpick down here, huh? We're in yet another world that is, again, a slightly different version of Columbia. And we don't know what's changed again. We didn't even figure out really what changed last time, because Chen Lin was married to a white woman. How was that allowed in racist Columbia? Like, doesn't that mean that Columbia is less racist in that version? But then you get to the police station and you listen to the founder commander talking, and she's completely racist. But then when you go into the police station and then you hear one of the tapes, and it says, well, he's not really that concerned. So we don't even know. We didn't even finish exploring that particular version where Chen Lin somehow marries a white woman. We didn't even finish exploring that, and now we're in yet another version of it, and we don't know what's different now. I just oh, more audio logs. Like the mechanic, like the tears and switching over to an alternate reality, it's a really interesting mechanic. But I really don't think they're really thinking it through. Like the story, like they're using it so callously. It's like, oh, we can't move the tools, let's just tear our way through. What? Really?
You ever see a forest at the beginning of a fire? For the first flame, you see them possums and squirrels running through the trees. They know what's coming. But the fat bears with their bellies full of honey, well, you can't hardly wake them up from their comfortable hibernation. We're going to Emporium, and then we're gonna see what it takes to rouse them from their slumber.
Alright, so the revolution is in full swing because we managed to tear our way through into a world where the Vox have a lot of weapons. Somehow. And there's extra lockpicks in this world. I mean, I guess if we just take it at face value and don't question too much, then I guess in this world, not only did Chen Lin not get killed, Chen-Lin's weapons did not even get confiscated. And so, you know,
Like it never was. How is it gone?
so it's like the Vox are even more powerful here than in the
I was
previous
still on Newton.
version.
Look here.
Can you feel it? Daisy's moved these people.
I was thinking.
Things can change, Booker, and we can be a part of it.
I don't want to be a part of it. Once we get our airship, we'll be well shut of this place.
Things can change. We didn't change anything. We moved to a different reality. We didn't actually make a difference. We just went somewhere else. That's different. We didn't. Things can change. Let's just double check for loot because we found extra. Was this here? Fitzroy spotted. Vile Vox Populi leader Daisy. I can't see that. That was too fast. Oh noes! Cower and hide! Oh dear! The Great Prophet has foreseen her end. Only he can protect us. Okay, well that's Daisy Fitzroy.